Welcome back, everyone. Did you know that 44% of Americans do not have enough cash for emergency situations?
And that is just the start to some of the financial illiteracy in our nation. But here to help us is author Steve Siebold with How Money Works, Don't Be a Sucker.
Don't be a sucker. I am going to listen to you for this one. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to address what just happened literally right before the show. There is going to be a pause in the stock market. What does that mean for our nation?
Well, there's a little bit of a panic going on, but this is when people really need, it's very important people listen to this, that they consult a financial professional. Someone that, this is not a game for amateurs. It's not a time for amateurs. Consult your financial professional, get good advice, and take a deep breath.
Absolutely. And go ahead, Brandon.
Well, you know, I was going to say, I was reading the book last night, which is, it's so easy to read, and there's so much information. What made you decide to write something like this?
Well, I partnered up with a gentleman named Tom Matthews, who's a 40-year Wall Street veteran, one of the top financial minds in the country. And our idea from the beginning was to write a book that a 14-year-old child could actually read, understand, and if they were so willing, to implement with their parents. And I think we succeeded at that. The book's selling very well and that type of thing. So we're hoping to educate people on financial literacy.
You really are. And I was just skimming through and seeing things. There's so many statistics I was not aware about. The 44% of people not having $400, you know, and this is what an average American spends a month. And I was like, oh, wow. Yep. So how did you guys come up with these numbers? And isn't it crazy to see when you see it in writing?
It really is. All the statistics that we did for the book, I mean, just the subscription services, I believe it was $237 a month on average. The alcohol was $29. Keep the alcohol. I think that's a good investment. But some of the other things, especially now with all the craziness, but some of the other things like eating out is very expensive. And when you add up all these little things, they make a big difference.
So when you're getting to the actual numbers, and you know, the cost of living in Texas is a lot lower than it is for everywhere else, but there's still people that are living close to or even under the poverty line. How does that make it, or how in comparison does that work when you're trying to save money but you're not making as much money as you should be?
Well, I think it's both. I think you want to save more, be aware, and that's why we're trying to teach people, basically, as the book says, how money works, because once you understand it, you understand the power of things like the time value of money, that when you're young, the compound interest works in your favor instead of against you, and things like that. And then looking at the other side in terms of making more money, like the younger people say, get a side hustle, you know, drive for rideshare, or you know, create a business or something like. Entrepreneurship is probably the best way people can earn money in this country.
And do whatever it takes.
And Steve, he knows firsthand. I was reading you've helped at least 1,300 people become a millionaire. Is that what
I've interviewed that many?
You've interviewed that
since
many.
1984.
Can you help me become a millionaire? But you do have, in the book, you have a chart on people to help people reach $1 million by retirement, and I thought that was super interesting, and we have it right here. So these are some number estimates here. Is this what it is, based on your income?
Well, it's based on how much you invest, but it's also based on the rate of return, which varies. So it's hard to lock something like that down. But the reason we put that in there was because for people to understand, especially young people, start now. Because that money will really impress you if you have 40 years to let the magic of compound interest work. And then once you're over 40, it's very difficult to make enough money to be able to retire for 30 or 40 years. And that's what we're looking at now with the medical breakthroughs we're experiencing.
So would you say you're never too young to start saving?
Not only are you not too young, we have something called $1 Million Baby. And that's when, a new baby, if you invested $13,000, one-time payment, grandparents, parents, one-time payment, a brand new baby, put it in a trust so they can't buy a Ferrari when they're 25, right? Like you and I probably would.
Like I would now.
Exactly. Exactly. In 67 years, they have with a reasonable rate of return, they have over $1 million in the bank. What a great, for $13,000 one-time investment.
Yes, and that was amazing when I read that in the book.
Isn't it? It's crazy.
I wish I could go back and tell my parents, look, this is all we need.
Me too, we could have been $1 million babies, man.
I'd have been good to go. So as far as when it goes with savings, I was wondering, when it comes to retirement, and would it be better for you to actually start saving your own money, or do what a lot of people are doing with the 401k or an IRA or something like that? Would it be better to put more money in your own savings account, or are you trying to put something into a 401k?
Again, this is really something for a financial professional. Consult because it really depends on your goals. I mean, it'd be great to just give a stock answer, but it depends on your goals, it depends on your situation. There's so many variables in the equation. It really does take a financial professional that you personally work with to outline what you should do. do, strategy-wise.
And the whole, yeah, but the whole don't be a sucker in the book, I think that's mostly what you're here for, is to remind people there's so many excuses. Like, oh, right now's not the time. I know I should be saving, but I really need to get this instead. How can we change that mindset? What do you recommend for anyone that is watching right now?
Well, I think looking at things in the book like the rule of 72. In other words, how long it takes money to double at a certain interest rate. For example, you read that and you think, my God, the bank's given me 0.09% on my passbook savings account, and then they say, oh, hey Brandon, how about a credit card at 17.3? We're going to take your money and load it back to you at 17.3.
That sounds great. Wait a minute.
Right, something's not right. And you start looking at the numbers and the statistics and say, I'm being ripped off. They've been ripping off the American public for 150 years in this country.
That's
the rich
crazy.
know this. The wealthy people know this.
Right.
The middle class does not, because they don't teach it to us in schools. And that's why we wrote the book, to educate people.
Right, and I think this book should be in schools, because I didn't learn anything about money myself until I started looking around and I realized I didn't have any.
Yeah,
Where's my money going? But I really did enjoy this book. I did
Me too.
like how simple it was and how easily it explained things that you didn't know, especially with the compound interest. That was amazing to me. I had no idea about that. So I'm sorry, I'm getting all excited about this book.
Well,
You need to see this book.
well, it's true. It's a genuine response to.
yeah.
Just happen to have here. Where did that come from?
And guess what? It can be yours as well,
is
because
yours, Brandon.
you can get a free copy of How Money Works. Don't be a sucker. If you mention Great Day SA, y'all, I think this fifth caller?
Is it fifth caller? 946 GDSA?
There you go. All right, it's just a special offer when you mention Great Day SA. So make sure you guys go and meet them. It's the book signing, How Money Works Learning Center. It's over at 85 Northeast Loop 410. Today from 1 to 3, you can meet Steve. For more information, howmoneyworks.com. Y'all, get the book.
Yes.
It's very visual.
Go get the
and
book.
it's just, it makes things, when you see them that way, then you're like, all right, I need to make some changes in my
Yeah.
life. So Steve, thank you so much for being with us
Thanks
this
so much,
morning.
Roma. Thanks, Brandon.
I
But make sure you
appreciate
stick
you.
around, because Jesse Borrego is hitting the big screen in a small town setting, and